We claim that the most valuable thing in our life is time, but we continue to waste it as if we are going to live forever. When we ask a person why he doesn't strive for his dream or why he doesn't do what he really loves, we usually hear the answer: I don't have enough money for this, or I don't have time for this. The second option is usually used by rich people. More often we ignore efficiency at work. We rarely analyze the workflow and often just try to finish our work somehow, following the path of least resistance. And this is a big mistake. A thoughtful analysis of our workflow allows us to identify the reason why we waste a lot of time, after which we can eliminate it and free up as much time as we need to do all the planned things. Unfortunately, most people don't see the difference between being busy and being productive. They can be incredibly busy all day without getting anything done. But believe me, everything will change radically when you start to move towards concrete result instead of wasting time by being too busy. Aristotle noticed 2500 years ago that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. The same can be said about efficiency. If you are working overtime but can't finish what you started, then it's time to change something about your approach. As Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It's not enough just to make a schedule. It's most important to do what you need, even when there is no desire. Low self-discipline? Don't worry. Now it's the best time to raise its level. It's like musculature. The more you train, the stronger you become. To improve self-discipline, start by setting small, achievable goals. For example, try to write 1,000 words every day instead of writing a book at once. Once a week, don't answer the phone within 1 hour. After waking up in the morning, refrain from using your smartphone for 2 hours. Don't spend time on social networks, don't check your emails, etc. It's important to keep a promise made not only to other people but also to yourself. I'm sure you, like most people, overestimate how much you can do in a week and underestimate what you can do in a month. If you do everything gradually, step by step, then over time you will be able to achieve what you never dreamed of before. Write down your goals and they will point the way to them, so you will start making the right decisions. It's extremely important that you set your goals clearly. Some useful tips. Make a small card and write your goals on it, taking into account time management. Keep it in your wallet and read it every day. The more the better. Create a to-do list. Write a step-by-step plan to complete each task and include an estimated lead time and deadline. The habit of planning can radically change your life. Both short-term and long-term planning helps to prioritize and correctly distribute important tasks. Decide what 5 things you want to do tomorrow. Do only what will really bring you closer to achieving your goal and decide in advance how long it will take to complete each action. Don't forget to plan your leisure time, leave time for entertainment and travel, and reserve some time for unforeseen circumstances that no one is immune from. When planning, you may encounter the following problems. You simply don't have time for planning. Believe me, half an hour allotted for planning on Sunday can work wonders. You are too optimistic about the time spent. You need more time than you planned, and this creates unnecessary stress. You don't leave time for force majeure situations or unexpected and urgent matters that can ruin all your undertakings. Prioritizing is not that difficult. You just need to separate the important from the unnecessary. Unfortunately, no one is immune from force majeure, and sometimes we have to solve unforeseen problems first of all. The answer to the question, what is most important for me tomorrow, will help you focus and start the day with a complete understanding of what to do and how to do it. Stephen Covey suggested prioritizing tasks by placing them in 4 quadrants. This approach allows you to assess the importance and urgency of a particular task. Also worth mentioning is the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle was formulated at the beginning of the 20th century and is based on the discovery that 80% of Italian land belonged to 20% of country's population. Which of your clients give you 80% of your income? Shouldn't you focus your attention on them? What about those 20% of customers who make 80% of claims? If you get rid of them, you will save an incredible amount of time on debriefing, unless, of course, they don't give you 80% of your income. Your business will grow exponentially, along with the amount of free time if you focus on projects that generate the most money with the least amount of time spent. The most important habit that should be acquired to improve personal effectiveness is the ability to maintain attention and focus. It's better to do one thing in the allotted time. Recent research confirms the ineffectiveness of multitasking. Humanity has not yet come up with anything better than to concentrate on doing one thing without being distracted by others. And some studies claim that multitasking not only slows down the overall pace of task completion, but it also makes you stupid. Also, grouping tasks is a great way to stay focused and improve efficiency, since we do similar types of tasks within an hour or two. During this time, nothing should distract you. No emails, no buzzy notifications on your smartphone, no surfing the net, etc. Have you ever noticed that you start to do everything faster when you do one thing within an hour? Examples of grouping tasks: an hour for correspondence, an hour for phone calls, etc. can significantly increase the efficiency and speed of work, since you don't waste energy on holding attention, switching from one thing to another, or when you are distracted. Analyze the list of tasks and decide how to group them. Every 5 minutes spent on the organization will bring you an hour of free time. But you are too busy right now to organize, aren't you? Is your desk covered with papers and sticky notes with reminders? If you only had a minute to spare, you would definitely start organizing your time, right? I'm sorry, but I have to open your eyes. You can't organize your time not because you are very busy. You are always busy precisely because you are totally disorganized. Spend the first 15 minutes of your workday setting priorities. Set aside an hour a week to sort and organize papers. If something can be done in less than 5 minutes, do it immediately. Anything that takes more time, put on the to-do list. Clean your desktop for 15 minutes every day. Feel free to throw away everything you don't need. Spend the last 15 minutes of your workday planning tasks for tomorrow. What's important? What's urgent? Organize your mailbox. Delete old and irrelevant emails. Don't start new things without completing old ones. Try to do everything right the first time, so that you don't have to redo it in the future. How concentrated are you working? I'll ask you differently. How long can you work without interruption or distraction? Most people withstand a little time. I suppose you are distracted every 5 minutes. There are two types of daily distractions, external and internal. It's extremely important to eliminate all possible distractions because they not only take up your time, but also reduce your concentration. According to recent studies, we need between 7 and 15 minutes to focus on what we were distracted from, and some argue that it takes about 25 minutes. If after a long and hard working day you don't see a tangible result of your work, it's highly likely that you procrastinated. But don't worry. We all suffer from this from time to time. Even the best of us are not immune to procrastination. Procrastination takes up most of our time. If we minimize its impact, we will significantly increase our performance. How to recognize procrastination? Here are some ways. You avoid what needs to be done. You put things off in the hope that everything will work itself out in some magical way, but this usually doesn't happen. More often the situation only gets worse. You do secondary things instead of solving urgent tasks, regardless of the degree of importance of one or the other. Yes, you got it right. Even if you are doing something more important than what needs to be done right now, you are procrastinating. I don't remember who said that, but it makes sense. Usually, procrastination leads to feeling of guilt, anxiety, self-criticism, and even depression strongly affects self-esteem and deprives a person of inner peace and balance. Agree, this is too high a price. Worst of all, that you lose twice. You don't do the primary things, but you also can't enjoy what you are doing instead of work, because you are always affected by feeling of guilt about unperformed work. Take action. Do everything necessary and paramount, and then encourage yourself with any leisure, without being distracted by anything.